Coming up on Network Africa. The deadliest violence in the capital of Central African Republic so far this year forces interim President Catherine Samba-Panza to call off her engagements at the ongoing 70th UN General Assembly in New York. Also, International Criminal Court charges ex-Congolese vice president and 4 allies for corrupting witnesses and interfering with justice. 54 inmates in Libya want a better life outside the prison as they seek justice. Hello and welcome to Network Africa. I am Adeshewa Josh. It was a matter of urgent national security for Catherine Samba-Panza, Central African Republic's interim president, and she had to call off her engagements at the UN General Assembly yesterday, when news of the deadliest violence yet this year in her country's capital, Bangui, reached her. Over 30 people were killed in the deadly clashes and about 100 injured in an intercommunal clashes that reportedly lasted for 3 days. This particular violence had sparked rumors that Samba-Panza could be overthrown. Bangui is also one of the cities protected by UN peacekeepers. Meanwhile, some other African leaders at the 70th UN General Assembly took turns to speak on issues of mutual concern. President Muhammadu Buhari spoke on security and his commitment to the rescue of the Chibok girls. He also asked the international community to help repatriate all looted funds from the nation's treasury. South African President Jacob Zuma and his counterpart Robert Mugabe of Zimbabwe called for UN reforms while asking leaders to encourage global equality.
Almost no progress has been achieved.
Yes, without trials or convictions. Among the inmates are drug smugglers, thieves, murderers, and loyalists of former dictator Muammar Gaddafi. Join us right now as a legal practitioner, Mr. Moyo Onibanjo, to talk more on this issue. Thank you so much for joining us on the program.
Thank you very much.
I mean, these women want justice. What are their hopes in any way that they are going to get it?
Well, the essential problem I see is that law and order has pretty much broken down in Libya, and I'm not sure that the courts of that country are still functioning as they ought to be. And but I believe that they are no doubt entitled to their freedom. They're entitled to be tried, because in both the charters of the African Charter on Fundamental Human Rights, everyone is entitled to know the charge that is being laid against him and to be tried within a reasonable period. So the fact that they're living a life of, in quote, luxury in jails is no comfort if they are being denied of their most basic fundamental human right, which is that they should be free to go anywhere that they please. They are also entitled to be tried within a very short period. So it is not proper to lock up anybody and just kick them away from circulation with no end in sight. For example, in Nigeria, the police can only detain you for 24 hours. Anything beyond that, they need to charge you to court. And I believe this is universal and is acceptable worldwide, and that should be the situation in Libya too.
Mr. Moyo, look at these inmates. They look like they're having the best time of their life. Could this be the reason why the government seemed to have forgotten them in prison?
Well, I'm sure that is not the reason. No matter how comfortable the prison might be, I'm sure they would cherish their freedom even more than those comforts. Those comforts are temporary. Their right to freedom is inalienable. You know, it's It's a basic fundamental right of any human being, wherever they might be. So nobody in their right minds will want to exchange their freedom for comfort.
So let's take it now from the first step. These inmates want freedom. What is the first thing they can do in the confines of the law of Libya to get this justice?
Well, I must sound a note of caution. Firstly, I'm not vast with Libyan law and procedures, but globally the principles are the same. They need to engage counsel or lawyers who know the law in Libya. These counsels will, I believe, present under the law of Libya petitions. In the Commonwealth countries, there's what we call a writ of habeas corpus. That is, you have to produce the person and to convince the court or persuade the court why that person should remain incarcerated. I believe such steps should be available under Libyan law, and it should be exploited. And I also believe that what might also aid their cause even more is wide publicity, such as your program is giving them now. This has to be brought to the attention not only of Libyan authorities, but of every right-thinking human being, so that pressure will be brought to bear on the appropriate authorities in Libya. And if there are any legitimate charges against these women, they should be taken to court and have their day in court.
Finally, before I let you go, has any fundamental human rights law been broken in this case? These women say they have been in prison for years.
Of course. Their fundamental right to liberty has been violated. Their fundamental right to have charges against them speedily determined has also been violated. Their right to human dignity has also been violated. We could go on and on and on. So there's no doubt in my mind that their rights have been violated.
All right, thank you very much, Mr. Moyo Onibanjo. He's a legal practitioner. Thank you so much for joining us on Network Africa.
Thank you very much. Bye.
We'll take another break on Network Africa, and coming up on the program, Burundi crisis fuels unemployment as young people in the country scramble for jobs. We'll be right back.